How's this work? Actually, probably isn't too bad. We do need a clamp for it, but it's a bit wobbly. Its handheld's not good. Can someone give me some feedback on that? Someone's watching. Can you give me some feedback on that? Anyone there? Hi, Peter. Is that better than it was? Are you getting any... Is that picture okay? Is the sound okay? How much lag have I got? If I start counting 1 to infinity, can you tell me, please, when you get the message? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Nope, no one there. I'm going to say something. Can someone reply? Okay, it's almost instant. I shall count the moment you press enter. That's what I'm getting. 10:49 a.m. Wow. Now, yeah. I think it's probably pretty good. This is sent directly from my tablet. It's certainly a lot better than from my phone because the screen's a bit bigger. But I don't have any way. Okay, how much lag have we got? Have we got 10 seconds or 30 seconds? I see it now. How was that? 21 seconds, about 4 seconds, but that's to Europe. I think we can live with this because we've lived with it before and this works. I need to get some sort of a mount for this that's not going to do this because this is terrible. I'm hand holding it here now. I don't have a decent mount for my tablet. That's where we're going with that. I'm going to have to either make or print or find or buy something for a phone mount and some way to mount it properly to the bench so that it doesn't shake about. So that's the next thing, I think. That's what we're going to do next. Tablet is a Samsung Tab A. Putting up these oilers, they kind of don't use a lot of oil, so probably they do need filling up, but they haven't used it for weeks. And that's about how they were with our left. They're not actually switched on though. Actually, I haven't even messed with this one since I screwed it in after live stream last week. I haven't used this lathe at all. That one switches on, that one switches on about the same, so that might do. The oilers are new. I don't know if there's anything else that we can give you a special show on. Kennedy box. It's full to overflowing. We need to tidy that up this weekend. Measuring equipment box. 3 cutting attachment project. Scribe block. JB World. Electronics project. Launch lathe. Spray paint. Oil. VFD that's not plugged in. A light that I am not even going to admit to the mistake I've made with that. We need to fix it. So I think this is the way forward, and this is probably what I'm going to do. But I do need to fix the camera mount, and I need to put a charger somewhere so that I can plug it in while I'm streaming with a fast charger so that it doesn't get flat like it has done the last couple of weeks. So that's the things to fix. Whether I need to put an external mic on here might be another option. I can probably do that nearly. That might not be beyond the realms of impossibility. So if I can get a lapel mount mic for it, that might be a really good idea too. We might have to think about that. So at this point, this is what we're going to do. This is nice and clear. It's probably clean camera is probably as good as anything. Not a clean lathe, but we do have a clean camera. We did fix this. If you haven't seen the video about that, I'm really pleased with that. And we've got piles of junk here, but here we go. Time to get in and clean up this weekend. We had a bit of a busy week this week and a busy weekend last weekend, so there wasn't a lot of cleaning got done, but it's time to do that. We might see what we can do about a camera and a mounting for this. If I've got my elbow rested, it's probably not too bad. It's certainly not as good as the GoPro, which is fantastic, but I think it's probably all right. So I think that's what we're going to go with. The problem is that YouTube have changed their complete live streaming system overnight, basically. Like last night, the old system come down and the new YouTube live studio went up. And this is all to do with the child protection laws, because YouTube don't want to take responsibility for directing content at children, which is apparently against the law in the USA, and they've been to court with it and they had to settle. They've decided that they are no longer going to direct content at children. So if you make videos for children, well, you're not going to get them directing the content anywhere. You're going to need outside influences or outside sources to create your community. So because of that, this is all coming in together. Because of that, live stream has changed, probably for the worst, and the Live Creator Studio is terrible. It really isn't good. It's a reverse screen, so it's a black or dark screen rather than a light screen, so it's very, very difficult to negotiate around. And no one's particularly happy with it, but that's what we got, so that's what we've got to deal with. You can't really change them. Hey, Stephen. G'day. So that's where we're at, is that because of that, live stream's got a lot more difficult, a lot more complicated, and I just want to do this simply. And at this point, I don't know if it's still going to work next week, but at this point, Oh, look at that. We've even got zoom. Nice. At this point, this works. Don't know if we got zoom or not. Anyway. I don't think it's a problem on this lathe, Ian. I'm not doing any serious heavy parting off with that Sherline chuck. We'll have a look over here. We'll talk about it while we're here. We might as well. No one really wants to know about YouTube's live streaming policies. This overhang isn't crazy. The end of the thread is right here. So if this chuck was on a boss, there would be no more overhang than it is now. And at this point, gosh, it'd be nice to have some way of holding this up. Sorry. No. I'm going to sit. No, I'm not. Anyway, at this point, this is on a chuck arbor which goes back into about here, and then the drawbar tightens it up. So there's no real overhang here besides the length of the thread. This is a Sherline 4-jaw, which is amazing, but it's not for heavy work. For squaring up little pieces of metal and for light 4-jaw work, it's fantastic. Got a big 4-jaw which sticks out exactly the same amount, and it's not so noticeable, so it doesn't feel like there's overhang on that. But on this one, it's exactly the same. How big is this? 3.5 inches, I think. 3.25 inches, I think they are. I should be able to change this screen to black and white when I talk about inches. But I think they're 3.25 inches. It's not very big. It's on an arbor that looks like this, which goes in the collet, through the collet. It's got a taper on it to locate it in the center, and this is just a dust cover. This is the one off my 3-jaw, which is actually on the rotary table at the moment. So yeah, 80 millimeters. It's a pretty decent chuck. These are really, really good. The Sherline chuck's amazing. It's nice and sensitive. It's easy to set up. It grips nice and true and nice and strong. I really like it, and I like to use it. I have a 51mm one too somewhere, but it's made in China many years ago, and it's really not a patch on this. This is American, and they're not cheap, but they are really, really, really good. I've got a 3-jaw bezel chuck as well, and one day I'd like a 4-jaw self-centering as well. So overhang, to answer the question, overhang on this looks crazy, but it's not really. It's 40 millimeters, something like that. It's not very much. And the end of the thread is right here on the spindle. So, and it's locked on the taper nice and firm. So there's no real overhang. Oh, Paddy, that's nice. Can't afford Swiss ones. So the next problem with this lathe to address, and there's always something with a lathe, have a look. I fixed this one. I've backed this off a bit until it beds in nicely, and then we might tighten it up, and probably it's nearly time to tighten it up. I've got that's about 0.1 of a millimeter backlash or something at the moment, which is plenty. This is pretty good. This is really nice here. So fix that, and I'll tighten it up when things bed in a bit more, and fix the backlash problem there, or sort it out and get it a bit tighter. This one's about right, and this one's, at the moment, this could do with tightening up a bit too, but this is about the same. It's about 0.1. The next thing that really needs fixing is this tailstock, if we're going to go there. This isn't a bad tailstock, it's the original one. I would like to see a new quill in this. Or probably the next model up, which was a Morse Taper 2 tail stock that was available for this machine. At this point, that hasn't happened. This is the original 1920s one. So at some point, I'd like to see that. But anyway, I have this machine because I can't afford Swiss, second-hand or new. Unfortunately, it's not the way it is. These tailstocks turn up, bits for this lathe turn up occasionally in Germany. At the moment, there's a set of collets available in Holland. I would really like to have them, but yeah, there's other things that I need to fix first and pay for first, and eventually I might have some money saved up again to do that. I do have some collets, but not a huge range. But this is a jolly nice lathe, and it's nice and accurate now and everything. This is all solid and really good, and the saddle's fantastic now. The headstock's really good. We did put new thrust bearings in here. As you can see, it's not leaking oil particularly now, so that's bedded in beautifully. It's not quite Lance and Patrick standard, but it's certainly it's running pretty nice. Pretty happy with that. I would like to see, now these oilers are in place, I would like to see a couple of brackets here and probably a tin guard through the top here somewhere. I'm not sure about that yet. And another project that I want to do while we're on top of it, or when we get on top of all the others, I've got a pulley here, which is this one, for overhead drive. And I would love to get a polishing or grinding spindle off this, or probably even a cutting frame off this pulley for it. And I would like to convert this pulley on this end to have back gear in it with a planetary drive. And I've got drawings to do that. So at some point, that's a project that's going to happen. When that happens, I want to convert this again and put another pulley, which is fast and loose. You see, this moves it across, and it's had two belts on it originally. This one's loose and this one's loose. If we pull this one's loose too. And it was set up so that it had cross belts. This belt on the center was crossed, and this one here was straight, so that when you move it from one position to the other, you get forward and reverse. A wheel cutting frame or a ornamental turning cutting frame. That was the idea of buying this machine, was ornamental turning, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. So, for reasons. So, this is a reversible, but I'd like another roller on here so that it's got a dead spot in it as well. So we can put both these belts onto a loose pulley, or we can put this one onto a fast pulley or the other one onto a fast pulley, and we can run it either way. But to do that, we really need to get away from threaded chucks and go to a locking system of some sort, so things don't come unscrewed when we put things into reverse. So it's all time and place. When I've got that, I want to connect this rod, which is our forward and reverse rod here, from this end. I want to connect it. It's bigger than a Myford end, but it's not much bigger. I want to connect this to foot pedals is what I would really like to do. So to have foot pedal system down on the floor, so that we can choose forward or stop, by stepping on the pedal. That's what I'd really like to do at this point. But that was the original plan. It's been, what, 6-7 years now, and it hasn't happened. But slowly, it's coming together. Probably this pulley here to be rebuilt is the next job. And we'll go from there. But anyway. I sort of shy from automated turning attachments and things like that because I find that people who build them spend the rest of their life building them and not actually making anything else except attachments for their machine. And I think that's bad, but I seem to spend a lot of time making attachments for this machine, and I do have some fairly elaborate attachments that I really want to put on it, but that's as may be, and when, I'm not sure. I also want to put a casted aluminium guard with launch on it to go around this hole to stop things falling in, up probably that tall to guard the belts. That's another project that I'd like to make a pattern for and fix at some point, but it hasn't happened yet. So anyway, we've bored you all to death for 20 minutes on lathes, and I didn't have any intention at all of doing that, but thanks for joining in. Thanks for your help with this, Paddy, and for anyone else who's joined in and helped. I really appreciate that. I think we've got the solution here. We just need to find some way of mounting it securely on this gantry so it doesn't move backwards and forwards, and that probably means sitting down and making all the 3D printed bits into aluminium so that it doesn't rock around. The gantry's up here. I don't know if anyone's seen that old video that's years ago, but this is sort of fun, and we'll have a look at this. This is it's on a piece of 80/20 rail, and it's got a pole here with a camera mount on it, but all these fittings here, this one and this one, which isn't so bad, this bracket, and this wheel in here with the spring on it, and the wheels up the top, all that sort of stuff is all 3D printed. Now the problem is that this 3D print with the bearing in it just didn't stand up to it. So if we look there, this is where the wobble is. So these parts need to be made properly in aluminium with bearings pressed into them so that this doesn't happen. And then probably we'll have less issues, but that's where the problem is, and that's why we've got so much wobble here, is because this is just worn out. It's only 3D printed. That might add some explanation to that. Let's stick her over there on the board. We might just focus on that if we possibly can. It's got this one here, Shark River machine. Check him out. He's on the screen tonight. That's Ox Talks. And Jimmy and Stuart Hart. It's pretty good. Marcel machine shop. This one behind the trophy is Magician Tricks. Corner's Machine Works. Hey Clark, don't have your sticker up yet. I don't think I'm covering the mic. Are you not hearing me? I could be covering the mic. Let's have a look. Got no idea where the microphone is. Yes, I'm covering the mic. I think that's probably it there. Can you hear me now? Have I cut out completely? Is that knocked out? Can you hear me or not? Hello? Everyone says yes, that's better. We've got a bit of lag. I guess they'll tell me if it's not. That might not be the microphone. Yeah, I found the microphones. I'll be a bit careful. I know where that is now, so I'll be a bit careful not to do that Wednesday night. I found where the microphone is. I had my finger over it. Yep. Excellent. Anyway, so this weekend's challenge, I guess, is to find a holder for this and to fix the mounting system. And we're getting there. Go and check out Windy Hill Foundry. He's just jumped up in chat. You should check out his channel. He cast this amazing engine for me. And I better get back into it. Anyway, it's late. Take care. I'm out. Not sure. I might leave this up now that it's got some lathe project stuff in it. We'll see. And more soon.